This next one is probably the most craziest one. Might be one that I have to cut and post. Guess this post was from like a lady's perspective, where like she like told the story, and it was a dude asked her if she was on her period,
Ugh.
and then this is not where it ends. The dude said that he has a strange talent and can always smell when a girl is on her period.
Hmm.
But wait, there's more. She was actually on her period.
So he wasn't even lying. He told the truth.
Yeah. The comments for the best. Where it's like you were either dating a murderer, a shark, or a vampire. Or all of the above. Welcome back to the Geeks Strike Back. I am your host Noah, and with me today is my best friend and co-host Curtis. How are you doing today, Curtis?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. And today we're going to be talking about things you shouldn't do on a first date, and things you shouldn't do, things you shouldn't say. We're going to give a little insight into our weird high school dating relationship stuff. We're going to get into some current events. But before we get into today's episode, if you're new to the show, please subscribe so you can stay up to date on all of our new content. Leave a review on Apple. This podcast is a weekly show that comes out every Friday. And now, without further ado, let's get into the show. So first, we're going to be talking about some current events. So first off, you might be noticing that my microphone is actually pretty good quality. Curtis was supposed to get his microphone in, but he made a oopsie and didn't do the right prepaid card or some weird crap.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no
Hopefully
idea.
next episode he will have a pretty good quality microphone like I do. So
Probably not.
I am obsessed with this thing though. Like it's so cool. I got like a extendable arm thing, and it's like,
I'll have to look into it more.
yeah, I can't wait until we get out of lockdown, so then we'll actually be able to record together.
Yeah, that'll be nice. So I can actually, work off your energy and things like that. So I don't just look at a computer screen.
And speaking of lockdown, oddly enough, we live in Michigan, which, in case you don't know, apparently is like basically all the states are partially opening except for, I'm pretty sure, New York and Michigan. And I think like some other state like Connecticut or somewhere now, I don't know, don't quote me on that, but it's like I know it's New York, Michigan, and then some other state. And then most of the other states are like partially open. Some states are like fully opening, or some states are like opening partially up, but they're not enforcing anything. So it's essentially just they're fully opening back up. Apparently, this actually happened recently. I think on Wednesday, some stories were starting to come out about it, and I guess haircut places, salons were offering like free service
Hmm.
in like protests for the lockdown. And I was reading up more on this, and it was morely to like symbolize, like the whole lockdown and not being able to go to work more, not specifically haircuts. Because when I first saw this and saw like the thumbnails of like freedom and like haircuts, I'm like, what? It's like the toilet paper all over again, where it's like, really? Like, I can understand not being able to work, that's stressful. And, if you're an extrovert, not being able to do anything, that can be very stressful, and life, if life is forcing you to change. But haircuts, like, okay, my hair is not really the best shape right now, but like, am I going to risk, corona? I use that in air quotes. Who knows if it's serious? Corona for a haircut. It's like, what? And then you see the pictures with the haircuts, and people are like wearing masks. I'm like, okay, you're protesting to be able to open the lockdown, but you're still going to be wearing a mask. It's like, at that point, just get a haircut from home. Like, everybody has
Yeah,
scissors. You can figure
yeah.
it
My
out.
mom does my hair.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
right. Ugh. She just does the sides though. It's not like she scalps me or anything like that.
I guess that's a good thing.
Thank God.
What do you think about the whole like lockdown and whatnot still? I mean, you have a different opinion than I do because I'm more of an introvert and I'm like a go with the flow type of person.
I understand why they're doing it. It's not like I'm against it at any point. Like, I mean, I wish it was over because I want to do more things besides stay in my room and go outside besides just my yard or walk down the street for any type of exercise at all. And I
Uh
hate online classes, but at the same time, I understand that it's a real thing that needs to like calm down a little more before we should be allowing people back outside. I'm fine staying inside for now, I guess. It was a little I've been able to adapt to it. I'm a little bit more extroverted than you are, so
Right.
it was tough at first, but I think I've gotten a hold on it.
We'll do an episode on this in the future about coronavirus conspiracies and whatnot, just because I think some of them are silly. And I
It's all
think it's
China's fault, bro.
yeah, I think it's valid to, I guess if you don't live in a place that you're directly impacted by the corona to like feel that, okay, is it really real? Are people inflating the, the cases and whatnot? And if you don't directly see it, who can you really trust exactly? Is the CDC owned by China? Stuff like this. It's like I don't want to do want to think these things are silly, but I guess it's like slightly possible. But I'm like, if the CDC is saying something, or if the CDC is owned by China, we have a lot more problems than the coronavirus.
Yeah, they're just trying to cripple us before they take us over, man. That's it.
Right, and I'm like, if they're trying to like cripple us by doing this, they're doing a pretty bad job of it at it. Like, if this was really their like a planned attack, they planned the coronavirus and everything, or something. Like, this was pretty poorly planned, considering like how Americans are, I guess. Anyways, if this coronavirus taught us anything, it's like something like this is not going to work. China can try and freaking create a virus, and still Americans are going to be like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah, we're like we don't care. We just don't
Yeah,
care.
like freaking the state governor can order a lockdown, and people are just gonna be like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah, we just won't care, bro. We'll ignore it.
So I'm like, I don't really believe that like China created the virus and sent it to the U.S. or tried to spread across the world or something like that. Is it possible? Sure, just like a parallel universe is possible, which we'll get to. But
Nice segue.
we were scrolling through the like news stories or whatever from this week, and it was like, did NASA find a parallel universe? And Curtis read up more about the story, so do you want to explain it, Curtis?
Apparently, they just did some new type of physics. They found like new physics and things like that, but everybody was just like, "Oh, they found a parallel universe or something like that." I don't know. I didn't really read much into it because I was kind of just hoping. I knew as soon as I read into it that it wasn't going to be what it actually is or what people
Right.
say that it was going to be. And I was just kind of hoping that, I don't know, maybe they actually did find one because I think that'd be pretty cool. But no, if you actually like read into it, it's just new types of physics.
Why do you think that's like pretty cool though? Like, I don't really care that much. Like, I
Like,
mean,
I know it doesn't affect me, but I don't know. I kind of just like when we discover new things, even if it doesn't affect me directly.
I guess that makes sense.
Like, I don't know. I think it's just kind of cool that we're becoming so advanced that we can find out things like that.
Right, but this is like life isn't a video game or like a science fiction movie, so it's just like okay.
Well, that's because
I,
we're just not advanced enough yet, bro.
I guess let's move on to our next current event topic, and that is pop culture with what was it, Curtis, where the lead of the show Batwoman on CW, I guess, just is like hippity hoppity, I'm off the property.
Yeah, she just left.
She didn't like the show.
I guess I've heard mixed things. One that she said she didn't like it, so she quit, and then there was another one that there was like, oh, she got fired.
In
I
case you guys are not familiar with the show, it's just like I don't know. It's like I like the CW to an extent, but I mean, it's also it's what you would expect. It's like lots of relationship stuff. Anyway, just like my main question is, who is this for? Because it targeted like it had sort of like the feminist audience sort of thing, but you're trying to bring people over from Batman, and I'm like, do those audiences really mix? So then a lot of people didn't really like it because I mean, and like the lead was lesbian.
and then Batwoman sucks but I'm not talking like the TV show. I'm talking like in the comic books too. She's just I've never read any of her stories and thought, man, that story needed to be told. You know?
uh,
Like she was cool. There was this one comic book that I read with her, and it was cool because she was dating like a police captain, and I thought it was kind of cool that she was like a vigilante and that her relationship dynamic was with somebody who was like trained or trying to like bring her down or something like that. Like I thought that was pretty
mhm.
cool. Like that was cool, but I feel like it could have been done better in different ways. Like
I feel like I should also say that another show they had on the CW, I think it started like on NBC or something like that, but it was moved to the CW, was Supergirl. And I actually thought that show was pretty decent. Like that sort of had a more broader audience
Hmm.
than Batwoman. Like I remember watching the first season and it still had like some feminist elements to it, but it was still fine. I didn't really take offense over any of it as, just a dude watching it. And but I could still tell like what kind of audience it was sort of aiming for, but it wasn't like exclusively that audience. But like
Yeah,
if you like look at the trailer of that woman, like it's clearly that target audience, and I think it makes sense of how some people just don't want to see that because they are just not interested in it.
and then there are other like I was going to ask you if you saw this, but they're bringing over Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
I really hope that that's at least good because like what kind of relationship can you do with Swamp Thing? I guess. I
They'll
mean,
find a way.
it does have a love interest, but I'm just I don't know. I kind of liked how it was supposedly. I haven't seen it because I I don't know. I saw like the first episode and I was like, oh, this is cool, but then I just never went back.
Uh,
It's supposed to be like horror, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun.
yeah, it seems interesting, but I don't really know. It's like I don't. I feel like nowadays I don't really have time to sit through like an hour of 22 episodes per season CW TV show where like half of it is like filler, anyways.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of this is gonna be like toned down anyway because like
Mm.
there was like a lot of like gore in the original, but I don't really know how much they're allowed to show on TV, you know?
Right, and it's like I really like the style of the Netflix shows. Sort of was like the perfect tone, but
Yeah.
for the CW, it's like it can't really go that far, so we'll just have to say no. Let's move on to the main or to one half of the main topic for today. So we're gonna talk about first our weird high school relationship drama stuff, and then we're gonna talk about worst things to do on the first date. Sort of some serious stuff, some like obviously funny stuff, and then sort of like back to serious. So I guess we'll sort of go back and forth. I have three specifically. I mean, I guess I have two, and then you're gonna talk about the last one since it
I got like
mostly involved
4.
you. Yeah. I mean, I have more, but these are just the main ones that I thought were kind of like ridiculous to think about. I guess in conclusion, or I guess to start off, the TLDR is that like a lot of people, I would say morely on the later half of high school, so junior year and senior year, like people had crushes on me that I'm just like, I don't like you.
Like ugly girls, bro.
It's not even that they were ugly; it's that they just do weird things that just makes it worse. So it's just like a lot of times just actions. But anyway, so let's start off with this. Now, this first person, it's mainly just fun to think about in hindsight. And I don't know about you, but I'm really someone who does not like yeah, we talked about this partially in the last episode about like, don't lie, or like is there ever a reason to lie? And I'm like, when it comes to like other people liking you, I feel like if you're gonna reject someone, just be honest about it. Don't be like, sorry, excuse this, excuse that. There were two things in hindsight that I thought was weird about this person. This first one takes place right before The Last Jedi was going to come out. And I think I ended up seeing that with you, right? I went to go see it with you and you went with my brother.
Yeah, we went to go see we went to go see like did we go see Rogue One together?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I remember. That means I went to go see that 3 times because I went to go see it with my
Same.
dad, I went to go see it with you, and then I went to go see it with Katie. Yeah, we went to go see 3 Star Wars movies together, and I don't know why some broad has to get in the way of that. Just saying.
Well, I've also like to mention that I also saw The Last Jedi, I think, two or three times. Granted, I mostly wanted to like get my friends' opinions about it. Like, I didn't really think that was the best movie. I think the first time I saw it, I knew I was like, okay, what is this? But I knew before it came out, like there was a lot of hype around it. So
Yeah, because it went off the great. I mean, I wouldn't say it was great, but it was all right. Not Last
Force
Jedi.
Awakens.
Yeah, The Force Awakens. It was pretty good. I liked The Force Awakens a lot up until the last 30 minutes.
Right.
Yeah,
But
where they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna kill your dad." I'm like, "Pff,
I hate it
okay,
when that happens.
yeah,
You shouldn't say out of context. Oh, anyway, essentially, like at this point, I think our friendship was pretty casual. I didn't really care either way. So this person was like so hyped about going to see Star Wars, and I guess I don't know, like their family or something. They didn't like Star Wars, or like she didn't have a right to Star Wars, or it was some weird thing like that. I don't remember specifically. It was something along the lines of that.
Mhm.
So we were in the hallway talking, or like on the way to class or lunch. So I feel like in high school, Chuck in the hallway is almost perfect for like any sort of casual conversation like that, because it starts and it ends at a certain point. There's no awkward like pauses. It's like, all right, let's talk and then bye. I'm leaving. Pretty easy to just drop in, drop out. So she was hyped about Star Wars, being like, oh my gosh, I want to go see it, but like I can't go see it. I'm gonna have to like wait a month after it comes out, blah blah blah, and I don't want to see Star Wars. Or she was like, I'm gonna want to see spoilers and stuff. And I was like, okay, do you want to go see it with me? And she's like, oh, no, sorry, I can't. And I'm like, what? 3 seconds ago, you were like, okay, I'm hyped. I would do anything to go see this movie. And I'm like, all right, no, I mean, I'm free. Like,
I'll do anything besides
I
that.
know, yeah, it's like that one meme. I'll do anything, but not that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. At the time, I was like, that's kind of weird. But now looking back on it, I'm like, that's like instant rejection.
Yeah, she just did not care.
Again, like I didn't really mind too much because I was chill with just being this person's friend. So I'm like, okay. And but it was just like the weirdest thing. And sort of on the lines of like weird things that I should have noticed at the time. And I don't remember, this could be Christmas or like her birthday or some sort of like event where she got like a new phone or something. And she talked about it like before she got a new phone. She was like, oh wow, next Thursday I get my new phone or some crap like that. So like it was like, oh wow, tomorrow I get my new phone. And then like it was the day of, and she was like, wow, my new phone is so sick. So like again, it was like the perfect time to be like, all right, like what's your phone number? And she's like, oh, sorry, my phone can't text other phones. It wasn't like that. I'm paraphrasing. It was like very weird, where it was like,
Like, you know that it was a lie, but at the same time, it's like you didn't wanna tell her that you knew that she was
right,
lying,
like it
so it
was
made it
just enough to be
awkward.
the truth, but like it was like, wait, what? She asked me like what type of phone I had. And she was like, oh, my phone doesn't text androids or something. And I'm like, what?
You can be like, I bet you if you would've said iPhone, she would've been like, "Oh, my phone doesn't text
Right.
iPhones.
Or like any phone. And I'm like, what?
My phone can't text. My phone can't call. My phone can't do anything."
I'm
Like, my
like,
phone's basically just in my pocket
right,
just for
like you're telling me you got a phone that can what, play Spotify? That's about it, or what? You got like unlimited calls but not unlimited text, or like some like I don't know.
unlimited calls, but not to you.
Right. It's like opt out of like that person specifically or something, and it's just like at the time I'm like, okay, that was weird. And like I think that the same day I was like,
I would've immediately knew that that was it. I did you immediately know?
yeah,
Like,
like I
that
knew
was just
something
her
was off just because like the excuse was like it was,
so
yeah, it
crappy?
was just like the Star Wars thing where it's like 1 second you're hyped and 1 second you're like, oh, sorry, I have a doctor appointment that day. It's like you were just hyped about it 3 seconds ago. It's like, no, just remember doctor appointment. He just called to remind me. And it's like, what? So it's like,
Yeah, he just called me right while you were talking.
you're right. It's like with the new phone, it's like, what? I forgot. Like it might have been later that day or like that week, but I was talking to like her sister or something because she was in my class, and then she like casually was like, "Oh yeah, I texted so and so," and I'm like, "Did what?" And like at that point, I'm like, just be honest with someone, because like I've been honest in the past, but then I come off as the rude one, and I'm like, okay, well, I would rather have someone be honest with me than be like, "Oh, sorry, my phone can't text black people." Or some crap like that. Not what she said, but essentially kind of what she said. Not like that, but like just something that doesn't make sense, but like you can still use because it makes just enough sense.
I would've loved if she would've used that excuse. I
Oh
would've
my
laughed for
gosh.
days if you told me that. I remember laughing when you told me that too, like, originally. I
Uh,
remember laughing 'cause I think you told me it, like, the same day or something like that, and then I
uh,
was just bawling my eyes out in the middle of, like what class did we have together? Like, English?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was English. Oh, yeah, it was English because we had to read To Kill a Mockingbird, and then everybody was, like, saying the N word and looking at you. It was all
I
weird.
guess we'll have to talk about that sometime too. Oh,
I loved that class so
guess
much.
on a little bit of side note before we move on, a quick story, a quick side note is that our teacher, she pulled me out of class and was like, "Hey, book is gonna have offensive language, and I just wanted to warn you right now. Is that gonna be a problem? Is that gonna be an issue?" it has the N word, and I'm like, dude, I've been going to public school for like my whole life, except for I guess like 3 years when I went to New Bedford. Even that was kind of still a little bit of a public school. You really think I haven't heard that word in my lifetime? It's like even if I said no, what were you gonna do about it? Have me read a different book? Have me like read it on my own or something? Like,
Plus, it's like, why does she care? The whole point of the book is to confront your ideals and opinions about different things.
right.
And you can't do that if you're gonna be like, oh, if this book offends you. Oh
Right.
my god,
It's just like it was like so opposite, but
if the book offends you, you're part of the problem and you need to change. That's the point of the book.
right. Let's not get too deep into that rabbit hole though. So, what's one embarrassing story that you have?
Okay. So there was this girl that worked with me while I was at like while I was in a supermarket. Okay. And she worked and like in quick I mean I guess I can say it's at Kroger. Okay, it was at Kroger. I worked in the deli department, she worked at Quick List. And I was like, oh man, that girl's really hot. I'm gonna go over and talk to her. And I did, and I got her number because I said that I was gonna throw a house party. Never ended up actually throwing a house party, which kind of sucks because I really wanted to. But part of the point. So I get her number, we're texting, whatever, and eventually I decide to ask her on a date. And I do this, and she says yes. Okay. But it was like really embarrassing. Like I choked on my own words. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, she was pretty cute, but it definitely wasn't that big of a deal in hindsight. And I do that, and then she just stops contact with me altogether. She ghosts me completely. And I tried asking her multiple times what happened. And I tried like confronting her about it multiple times because at that time I didn't realize like it's not worth it. Just let it go. Like I've learned that now. Like I wouldn't do the same thing now.
Huh?
Now I'm just like whatever, her loss anyway. I wouldn't have ghosted anybody. That makes me the better person.
Mm.
And there were people saying like I was like stalking her and things like that. I'm like wasn't stalking you. I worked at the same department store and I just want to know what was going on. I
Oh
guess.
my
Like
gosh.
she was telling people that I was like stalking her. I'm like, no, I just want to know what was going on.
Right.
Like that's literally it. And like that annoyed me that she wanted to create more drama to make herself look like the good guy. That annoyed me because she could have just as easily just told me she didn't want to go on a date with me.
Right, then
That
having
would
to
have
like
been fine.
create drama that she knew was, totally not true.
Yeah, and then ruining my reputation at the same time. Like
What reputation?
I'm genuinely liked by a lot of people that were in my shop. Like a lot of people defended me when there was people in Quick List. Like there was some people in Quick List because you remember how I said that she was attractive looking. Apparently she had like two people wrapped around her finger where they were like, "Oh, we're gonna beat him up,"
Uh,
and I was like, and then I was like, okay, one,
oh my
that's
gosh.
stupid. And number two, I have a lot more friends than you in this department, so I wouldn't try it. Like even like we have a mutual friend and I'll tell you this afterwards, that is in that department that was talking to me. And then she's like, yeah, she won't just stop talking about that. I'm like, does it look like I'm a stalker to you? And then he says, no, you don't seem like you care. And I'm like, I don't, because there's no point in this.
Right.
Yeah, there's none. And then I was like, this is stupid. And every single point of this entire thing is stupid. And then he's like, yeah, it seems like it is. And then he was like, she seems like she's a lot of trouble. And I'm like, yeah, she seems like she is. So that was the end of that. And she occasionally, because we go to the same college, she occasionally sees me and then she gives me like a disgusted look. And then I'm just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this is still in your brain. Like, I
Right.
didn't even recognize her. I knew her from somewhere. I just didn't know who she was. And then it took me a second. I was like, oh my God, that's you.
Wait a minute. I know you.
Yeah, I knew her from somewhere. I just didn't know where.
That's just great, dude.
Yeah, I hated
Drama.
like, yeah, I was just like, this is so dumb. Like, it actually got me a little amped up just talking about it because I'm like, man, I
She's
hated every
just
single.
so annoyed about it.
I am annoyed about it because it's like people are like threatening to like beat me up and stuff, and I'm just like this. Like they're like you're bothering a woman, and I'm like you didn't bother to get my side, did you? You didn't bother to ask me what I thought, or you didn't bother to ask for my opinion. You just decided that I was the bad guy because you got one person's advice.
Right, and let's solve
Are
this
you
with violence.
Yeah, and let's solve it with violence because that always works, doesn't it?
Right. Ah, yes.
Ah, yes. It's not like even
Sounds
if I was doing it, which I didn't because I didn't care enough, but if I was going to do it, you wouldn't have decided to be like, "Oh, I'm not going to have like a calm, civilized chat to show me the error of my ways." You're just going to be like, "Oh, I'm just going to beat him up."
I like that. No chat, we're just gonna beat him up.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's great.
All right. Back to your turn. Tell the story.
Alright, so this next person did a lot, and just to sum up, so it's just someone who just wasn't that attractive, but, like, I still gave them a chance because 'cause I'm like, "Your personality is, like, sort of interesting, I guess."
Even though she wasn't at all. I knew this person. Not interesting at
Plus,
all.
she was already in my class anyway, so I'm like, I might as well just see where this goes. But like, like in hindsight, I knew very early on that like it wasn't gonna work out.
I was just about to say, like, sometimes you get that feeling that
Mhm.
it's just not gonna go anywhere. It's a pretty good idea just to trust that feeling, because
Yeah,
honestly, that's your brain going through every single thing that you can possibly do with this person, and then if it's still telling you that, yeah, it's probably not gonna work out, you should probably listen to it.
that is actually like very true. But that was kind of like how it was, where I'm like, I'll give it a try, but like secretly, I'm like, nah, it's not gonna work. But and plus I was in high school, so I'm like, why the heck not? And
Yeah.
first of all, starting off, I don't remember if this is exactly what happened, but I knew it happened with like her or like one of the other chicks who had a crush on me or whatever. And it was like,
Mhm.
if someone ever gets my phone number from someone else that's not me, instantly I'm like, nope, nope, okay, nope, go away. Like cause it's just instant creep. Cause if you're not gonna ask me for my phone number and you're gonna get it from someone else, like I feel like that's just like a slight just in the I don't know. It's like
Red flag.
okay, I sent memes to her like I send everyone memes, friends, like
You don't send
acquaintances.
me.
Just cause you don't respond to my memes
I respond to your memes.
occasionally. Anyways, so like I sent her memes, like I told her that like I read or something, and then she was like instantly obsessed. And I'm like,
Oh, wow, you mean you do something that everybody has to do in order to function? Who would have thought?
what did I do to deserve this treatment? Like all I said was that I like to read and that like I like memes. And you're like, wow, he is the one.
Wow, he's the one. He's my Prince Charming because he can read. I mean, I guess when you go to a school like we did, I guess that's a
Right.
pretty high status
Or
function.
about like 101% of the population at school, which is vaping in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that does make sense. But so I'll just go through some weird instant like red flags that are just oof. I feel like one thing is that like that everyone does is that if you don't respond to someone, especially if it's like someone who has a crush on you, I feel like that's just indirectly telling them something. And if they continue to try and like message you every day, in fact, it's like, ooh, mm, not right.
Yeah. Yeah, they got it bad, bro.
And I don't know if it was this person or like some other person, but I know at least two of the people who had crushes on me like sent like good morning texts like a week into like turning to text them, and I'm like, what is this? Like what? Like what? How do you think this is a good idea? Like where did you learn this? Who told you, and where are they? I'm gonna have a talk with them immediately.
I never have texted anybody good morning that I wasn't already in a relationship with.
Right.
Plus, they usually beat me to it because I sleep pretty late into the day. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, if I'm sending you a good morning text, you must be pretty darn special. Just saying.
So one of the weirdest things was like, okay, she added me on Facebook, and I'm like, okay, why not? Click. And this was like before like all the weird stuff started to happen. So at this point, I was like, I don't really care. Like I have like 200 friends on Facebook. I don't care about 100% of them. So who cares? And but she liked every single one of my posts, and it was like every single one, and I'm like, what? I don't know. Like, have you ever like liked someone's like picture from like ages ago and be like, "Oh crap," and like immediately just have like an inner panic attack?
No, because I don't like people's pictures.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Anyway,
Yeah.
that was like taking that up to like 100. And I'm like, what did she think was gonna happen on my side? Be like, oh wow, she liked literally
All
like
the notif
what the heck am I supposed to think? Like, wow, like I guess it's
Yeah, you wanna know when I thought something like that would have worked? In, like, middle school. In, like, high school, you're supposed to be, like I mean, I guess when you don't have like, that's the one thing that you kinda have to like about failure is that it teaches you what to do right,
right.
or I guess what not to do wrong, and I don't think she had many other people telling her what to do what she was doing was wrong.
Mhm.
I think she was just like, "Oh, I'm saving myself for the right person," and then eventually she just grew desperate, and then sh
On a side note, I feel like that's sort of like the difference between attractive people and unattractive people is that attractive people just get a lot more chances to like screw up because they have a lot more dudes or a lot more chicks going after them. So they have a lot more, leeway when it comes to testing out things. But if you're
yeah,
unattractive, you get fewer choices. So you
yeah.
don't really know what's right or wrong yet. So kind of feel bad, but at the same time, it's like when I'm on the receiving end and I'm like, "What is going on?" I'm like, "What?"
I was actually really lucky because after I had stopped talking, I mean, I guess I can save this story, but there was a little bit of a piece of it where after that I had gotten to after the woman that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. There was the girl that I was with for a year and a half. She actually knew about the past breakup, but because and I'm not saying this to be like to toot my own horn or anything like that, but it's because I was in band and there's not a lot of attractive kids in band, but I'm fairly attractive, I guess. And
Okay,
they
calm
just,
down.
hey, I guess I got more chances, I guess, to go off your point. I got, I guess I don't think I would have gotten that chance with that girl if I didn't look better than or if I looked worse than what I do. Yeah, does that make sense?
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you want me to talk about that girl now?
Oh, well, hold on, I'm not done yet. Calm down.
Sorry. All right.
It was that, and then I remember specifically this one time where it was at lunch, and I think like someone made a joke or something, and like someone sarcastically said, "Oh, do you need a hug?" And I like sarcastically said, "Oh yeah, why not?" So then she like does the most awkward
Ugh.
hug in the world, and like goes like stands up and like reaches across the table and hugs me, and I'm just like,
I would literally tase this person. I would have gotten out a can of mace and just maced him.
I was like more like surprised that like that actually happened. I'm like, what the heck? And I wasn't really like what's the word embarrassed at all. Just for the sole fact I'm like it's high school anyways. I don't really care about like anyone in this lunchroom anyway, so it's not like I really care. I was more just like what is going on? And going off
I
this
would have roasted you so hard.
wow, yeah, I'm sure. But going off the same point of weird lunchroom stuff, so I guess to give some background, is that I sat at this table just because there was nowhere else to sit and I could just blend in and like play my Switch and listen to stuff without people being like, oh, who are you? And I remember like getting at a different table for like a short period of time and like, you know how the high schoolers are, they like shake the table, they go freaking crazy, and I'm like, oh my God, stop. So this table was pretty chill. So at the table was like few friends from like various classes and their friends, and beside the table also was my ex who I was still sort of like friends with anyway, so like it wasn't weird between us, but it was weird between anyone who had a crush on me since she I guess actually scored and like they didn't which kind of sounds sad, but oops. That actually really sounds rude now that I say it like
Worst.
that. But anyways, we're talking about like one of the times we hung out or something, my ex and I, and this chick who had a crush on me was like, "Oh wow," and we see how that turns out, or we see how that turned out, and I'm like,
Oof.
"Okay, like, geez, need some fries with that salt? Like, is that supposed to make me like you more? Be like, oh wow, you just roasted me. Heck yeah, now that I like you. Like, I don't know what philosophy that is of how it's like, oh yeah, be rude to them and they'll like fall in love with you. I don't really think that works with a guy.
Like, oh yeah, you roasted me. Let me just take my clothes off.
Right. I mean, I guess there's like some people who like think that will work with like a girl or something being like the bad boy. But I don't think that really works opposite, or at least not for me. There's never been a time where I'm like, "Wow, you're rude," and like you don't care. That just turns me on. Like, nope. I just
Plus that you have to be attractive, and I'm
right.
pretty sure if we're talking about the same person, she was not
Right,
attractive.
you have to be attractive for that. So if you're like unattractive and just roast me, then I'm like, okay, I didn't ask for this.
I guess you did.
So it was like, what the heck? So that's pretty much all. I guess the TLDR is like, I mean, yeah, she was unattractive, but she was weird, and that just made matters worse.
Because you can get past like people can grow into being attractive. Like there is a reason that there's like memes that it's like, oh, be careful who you make fun of in high school or middle school because yeah, you can peak later in life and that's
Right.
fine. But if you're just gonna be weird, like don't be weird.
Right. So you wanna go next with your person?
All right, all right, all right. So me and this girl were on and off talking for 2 years, and then she decided to break it off. So I immediately was like, okay, I'm gonna show her. I'm gonna rebound. And this is the only time I've ever actually rebounded ever, and I hated it. I mean, she was attractive, but she just wasn't really like the kind of girl that I guess I was into. She was a little bit more. Me and her didn't really have the same interests, is all I was really talking. She was more of like, I mean, I like music and everything, but she just wanted to be all about music, and I like other things too. I like video games and I like going out and doing things, but she was like very introverted and she only wanted to do musically involved things. And I was like, okay, I'm still gonna date you because I need to rebound. Well, we start dating, and then I see that the other girl that I was talking about, the one that I had dated for, I didn't date, but we're like on and off talking to for like 2 years,
Mhm.
started talking to somebody, and she was like bragging about it because he was like on the football team and things like that. And I was like, okay, I need to up the ante. I need to tell this girl that I like really 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 like her. And then I just like start pouring out my feelings to this woman that I didn't even mean, and I feel really bad about it now. I think I might text her and be like, I'm sorry. But uh I like telling her that I really like her, and I'm just throwing out heart emojis all the time and things like that, and
Ugh.
it's really really cringy. I'm rolling my eyes right now, trust me. You aren't the only one going ugh.
It's like
Like
a
I'm literally
romance
actually,
novel level of plot right there, dude.
yeah. And then like she breaks off to like 3 days because I was just too intense. And even now I can see it. I'm like, yeah, I was too intense. Like I was way too intense, and I
She
didn't
couldn't
even
handle your
care about
intensity.
her. I didn't even care about her. That was the worst part. I did not care about her at
Oh
all.
my, that is so horrible.
Yeah, I
I'm
know,
with
right?
you.
But we're all horrible in high school, okay?
Oh no. Alrighty, do you want to talk about the incest one, and then you can segue into your next one? So I have one that relates to, or I have one that relates to me, but Curtis was like the main perspective of it, of all the weird stuff
Yeah.
that happened, and it has a little bit of incest in it, but we're not entirely sure, but it's kind of leaning that way, and it was kind of weird and creepy, and also segues into his next person since that person was that person's friend. So
Yeah, okay. Well, they were actually like best friends, but I didn't even know this person until out of high school, but that isn't the point right now. Okay, so the point is that this person was in our math class because we had the same math class together. And you, for some reason, liked her, even though I couldn't really see. She looked weird. She looked like a weird Bugs Bunny kind of person. And she had just a really huge eyes, and I don't know, she had like a weird, disproportionate head and things like that. And I was like, Jesus, sweet. And and you're just like, oh man, I like her because she likes the Flash. Like, wow,
not
who
the only
doesn't like the
thing.
Flash? Who doesn't like Grant Gustin as the Flash? Like that's your criteria. That's your
Oh,
bar.
okay. Stop
She has to like
roasting
you.
me and get on to the story.
But she wanted nothing to do with you. She wanted this like wrestling guy, and I guess I kind of understand why. Like he's a decent looking dude, I guess. And
But the funny part was he didn't really care about her at all, though. I don't even think he like
yeah,
realized her existence.
he did not. He did not care about her existence. She was definitely trying to get something. She was shooting for a treasure she could never obtain.
Oh well,
Like she
Thanos.
set her Yeah, she was shooting her shot way too far. Like,
Yeah.
like I mean, I guess that she was. I mean, I wouldn't say that she was fine looking. If she was anybody's type, she most certainly was not mine. But if she was somebody's type, it wasn't his either, because he was too busy dating cheerleaders and things like
I
that.
think she might have been a cheerleader.
She was no, she was she was a theater girl.
Oh yeah, that's why she was so weird. All right.
Yeah, and then she was like, "I'm gonna move to Hollywood so I can be a
Oh
big star."
yeah. Now I
Yeah, remember that?
I forgot
Yeah,
about
remember
that
that when
until now. Yeah.
I rolled my eyes so hard at that. I
Why
was
are
like, "You
band
gotta be
people
kidding me."
in like theater kids so weird?
I think I mean, because I was bullied like a really long time. I'm kind of happy that I was because if I wasn't, I would have been weird or at least weirder.
You think you're normal?
I mean, I don't think
um,
I'm normal, but I don't think I was their level of weird.
yeah, I know what you mean, but
But yeah, she's like, I'm gonna move to Hollywood. I'm gonna be the big star, and like, of course, live your dream. There's some people who probably say that do end up to do that, but I did not think that was gonna be her. So and she liked the kid, and I got fed up with it after a while. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see what this is actually gonna amount to anything because I'm tired of you giving her goo goo eyes every single time we're in the same math class together. And so I go and do that, and then I
okay.
I think she was
I'm gonna
I think
pause
she was
real quick. I think the best part was because this is the specific time it happened, right? Where like in math, we both struggled, so we went to the tutoring lab or whatever,
yeah
and then I guess she started to go or something because she was confused. But I started driver's ed at that time, so I think it was like one of the times that I had driver's ed, so it was just you two there, and it all happened in like a matter of an hour. So right,
yeah because I would have never been able to ask that if you were around. So I waited until after you were gone, so that way you couldn't be like, dude, shut up or anything like that. So I just decided to take matters in my own hands and go and ask her what this was all going to be
fine, I'll
anyway.
do it
Like,
myself.
yeah, I was like, fine, I'll do it myself. Like, you just gotta have the will, bro. And then you go and then I go and ask her what does she like you or whatever. And then she's like, I love him like a brother. And I'm like, ugh, that has to hurt. Like, I literally saw that. And I was getting sad for you. Like, like I don't even like that chick, but I hate it when they say that I love you like a brother. I hate
uh,
that. Say you don't like somebody, it hurts less.
oh boy,
Like, unless you're about to segue into a joke that says "I love you like a brother" in Alabama, just don't say it.
I love you like a brother in Alabama.
Yeah,
Oh
and then
boy. This is not where
and
the story ends, guys.
speaking of Alabama, so she decided to then tell me about the guy that she does like, who happens to have the same name as her brother. And then she's talking about like all the different things she does with her brother, including going to like scouts with him and doing all these other different things with him and like events, like stay over events, like stay the night events. And she was talking about how great it is to stay in a tent with him overnight and things like that. And then I was like, Jesus.
In
I was lit- I had to keep a straight face during this because I don't think she would have continued talking if I would have just been like thinking about all the things that I was thinking. But I was thinking quite a many things,
and
and
like, didn't she also say like that like the crush she had like reminded her of her brother?
of her brother, and I was like, I was like
Sweet
all these
home.
different things were just yeah, like obviously if she had just said one of those things, I would if she would have just said, "Oh, he reminds me of my brother," I would have just been like, "Oh, maybe it's fine. Like maybe she sees like redeeming attributes that her brother taught
Or
her
like
to
friends or
like other
something,
men." Yeah, maybe her brother has a lot of redeeming qualities that she now seeks in other men and things like that. But no, she just kept going over and over about how her brother is the most amazing person on the planet, and she even has like pictures on her Instagram posing with him like how a woman would with like a prom, like how like a couple, like they pose like couples.
Uh-huh, and, like, it was, like,
And I was like,
happy birthday to, like, the best human being ever or something.
yeah, and then I was like,
It was oh my gosh, it was not good.
yeah, and I was like, yeah, I understand where this is going, and I
Mm,
am not happy with it at all.
clocking out.
Yeah, I'm checking out there, bro. All right. So that was your story, and then I thought this was kind of funny because me and you are best friends, and then I actually meet her best friend, and she's really hot, like 1,000 times hotter than you. You got the worst one. You picked the bad one.
Oh, well, seeing how it
But
turned out.
yeah, yeah, but that's how yeah, you'll guess how this story turns out. So I talking to this woman, she's really hot, and we even go through like all the days. Like she likes a lot of things that I like. She likes like video games and all these other things. She likes video games. She likes Star Wars. She loves Star Wars. She was just talking to me about how she loves Star Wars, and I was like, man, it's like the perfect woman. Hot, love Star Wars. What else do you need? And then I was texting her one night, and then it's revealed that she knows my mom. So I was like, I should probably figure out, see like a little bit of reconnaissance,
Uh-huh.
see like what's on the up and up.
Dun,
And then
dun, 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 dun.
yeah, and then I like talked to my mom because her mom knows my mom. And then I like talked to my mom, and then she's like, "You're not dating that woman." And then I was like, what do you mean no?" And then she's like, "You're not dating her. I don't care. Like, you're not dating her." And then I was like, "Why?" And then she's like, "That woman is crazy." And then it turns out even one of my close friends knows about this woman as well. And apparently she like cheated on her significant other and things like that that she knew of. So maybe it was for the best, but at the same time, like I told her about that because I want to be honest, because I think you should be honest in relationships and things like that. And then she was like, "I'm just not gonna date you then because I don't want your mother getting in the way." And then she just stopped texting me. And then eventually she was like, "Oh, we can still be friends." And then she never texted me again, so that was cool.
Oh my
So,
gosh. I think the best part is
so
just the fact that her and then the other chick were friends, best friends.
yeah, we both struck out.
Oh my gosh.
Although I would say I definitely got a better deal than
I
you
don't
did. Just
regret the experience. You know how great of a story that is about
I
like
mean, I don't regret the experience with that girl either, cause like, I mean, it's fine. I don't mind.
I guess I mean like at least my story is like it's like the best case of but wait there's more.
Yeah, I got sad at the time. Like, I was sad because I got my hopes up because I had just gotten out of a year and a half long relationship. I was like, I feel
Hmm.
like I'm finally ready to get back in the game. And then I start talking to her, and then she's like, "Nope." Like, don't you remember? I was like, for like 6 months, I could not get over it. Like that 1.5 year long relationship. I was just so sad all the time.
Yeah, dude. I
Like you're
remember
Yeah, and then I was just like, oh my God. I did not think I was gonna be able to date while in high school again.
every high schooler's
I,
thought. Yeah, that's true. So then you had
oh
one
yeah,
more
so I had gotten a dating app. It's called Bumble. I'm sure you've heard of it.
not sponsored.
And no, not sponsored. But so I get onto it, and I'd never online dated before, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. So I go in, I set up my profile, and then like it was kind of annoying because I don't have good pictures of me. Like I don't like taking pictures. And then I guess I had good profile pictures, even though if I don't think that they were good. But this woman, she like slides on me, and then we start the conversation, and then we talk for like about 2 hours, and then she's fine. She's fine. She seemed nice, so I gave her my number, even though I shouldn't have. I should have talked to her like, for like another week or
Uh-huh.
something like that. And then she just goes insane as soon as she gets my phone number. She like gets like really intense, like how I was during that other relationship. She just goes pretty much insane. Uh, she's like, "Oh my God, I want to meet like right now." And then I'm like, "Listen, I can't match her level of intensity." And then she gets like so mad. She's like yelling at me over the like she's like, I mean, she wasn't yelling. I didn't She like tried to call me, but I just did not accept.
Caps.
And then she was like, yeah, I was like all caps, so it was like imagining in my mind that she was screaming at me. And she's like, "Well, I'm just gonna leave because you don't even because if you don't like me the way that I like you, then you're just not the one for me." And then I'm like, "That's valid. Okay." Like I didn't mind because I don't care that much. Like I just met her 2 hours beforehand. It's not like ooh, like It's not like you're the love of my life.
Right. I think for the conversation that like we have like about like our sort of experiences, a lot of people think guys are always the weird ones, which granted, I mean, yeah. But you don't know everything if you only think it's guys who are weird.
I would say it's probably split 50-50.
Yeah. It really just depends on like like I don't know, like their experiences. Kind of like we said before, if they haven't ever been with anyone, sort of, then it sort of gets a little awkward, I guess.
Like, like there's you can definitely. I think that there's like a little way to tell. Like, have they had another relationship, or like how many friends do they have is a good one because
Uh-huh.
it's like you have to think. I wonder why other people don't want to be around her.
Right. Can we talk about this at some point? Or like I heard it from something where it's like if the person doesn't have any friends, it's like that's a sign that like you need to abort.
Yeah,
It's like if they don't have any friends, then like why is that? Is it because they're weird or like they're secretly evil?
yeah. Or like, what's the deal? Why do other people not want to be around them?
Right, that's just not a good sign, which I think is a pretty good segue into our main topic, which is what not to do on a first date. Now, did you have like anything else to say about that story?
I just I I blocked her, and that's it. That's really it. I blocked her, and then she actually noticed that I blocked her on like Bumble. I like unmatched her,
Uh,
and then right before I actually like blocked her in on like my phone, she was like, "Are you serious? Did you actually block me, little boy?"
oh, what kind of insult is that?
I don't know.
Little
I'm like,
boy.
"Yeah, little boy."
Oh, hit me where it hurts.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
Load the belt.
He was- Yeah, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that she was actually far like shorter than me. I think she was like 5'2" or something like that.
Doesn't do anything.
I don't know. I just don't like it when people are like little boy, and then she's like
A
at
midget.
my shoulder level. Yeah.
Anyways, so the main topic is what not to do on the first date, and we're starting off first doing a little bit of serious ones, and then some funny ones, and then we're gonna end off with a serious note. So I feel like we can go back and forth. So
Mm,
this first one mainly pertain like I feel like there's really main things when it comes to what not to do on a main date. I feel like there's phone, politics, religion, if you have any like weird hobbies, might want to leave that out, perhaps lean them in as you get to know that person. I guess if they like your other qualities, then they're probably going to have to, what sort of compromise with that. And like getting a time and date and stuff like that, because feel like in high school especially, like don't ever, if you're planning the date, don't ever ask the other person what they want to do. Just decide something and say this is what's going to
yeah,
happen. If you ever are like, hey, what do you want to do? It's like no, instant like done.
yeah. I'd be like, just make the decision for them because it's like they will never make a decision.
Right.
If you're the one instigating the date, you should try and plan it.
Right. But one of my like biggest pet peeves. Now granted, I guess I haven't been on a lot of movie dates. I guess only a handful. And I don't really think they're like the best type. I feel like it's always a good setup for something else. But like
Mm,
if you're just doing like I remember one time I went on a date where it was just a movie and they asked if like I wanted to do anything else, but I was not really interested in this person. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. So like only once has it only been a movie, but and this has not ever happened with like a date, but like with friends where it's like do not talk during a movie. I mean, sure, here and there, like a whisper being like, what the heck was that? But if you're like commentating on the movie, like delete yourself immediately. Like, I mean, if you're at home watching a movie, then it's fine. But like if you're going to see it with somebody else, just that's just an unspoken rule. Do not talk during the movie. Do not pull out your phone during a movie. This is a little bit of a side note, but when I saw Endgame, I don't know if it was yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Endgame. No. Stereotypes aside, there was this group of people, may have been black, and had like 100 kids with them. Stereotypes aside, they were like nonstop like chatting during the movie, and it was obvious of how they like brought like their like grandparents or whoever there was, like aunts who were old, because after everything, like the old people were like, "Who's that? Who's that? Is that Captain Ant Man?"
Is that Captain Ant-Man?
I don't know. Whereas, like, is that Iron Thor? Like what? After everything, it was like constantly like, "Who is that? Is that Batman?" It's like, stop. And I remember one time in the movie, their phone rang, and like for a hot like 5 seconds, nobody moved, and then it kept ringing something like, "Oh crap!" And then they like moved like really all of a sudden. They were like trying to like find it, and they actually answered it.
Ugh.
But, that was just a side note of just don't talk during a movie, please. If you're one of those people, you know who you are. Just don't. All right. What's your what not to do on a first date?
I don't bring up the X too much. Like if
At
I guess
all.
if they instigate, yeah, at all, like that's always good to not do because it shows that you're not over the other person. And if you're not over another human being, then maybe you should just consider not going into a relationship until
Right.
you get yourself sorted out, is a good one.
I feel like there's never a good where can you mention that and have it be natural? Be like, oh, haha, that reminds me of my ex, or ha 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 ha, ha, that's just what my ex
Yeah, that
said.
reminds me of my ex.
Like,
Like, unless you're about to do something, unless they have like an embarrassing story, which I guess is fine. Like, it has to be a pretty embarrassing story, but
you get to like have it be like specifically for comedy purposes, or else it just looks like you're just not over it.
yeah, yeah, it looks like you're trying to talk about your ex because you're like, oh, I miss my ex so much.
Right.
Yeah, guess what? Everybody has somebody they miss. That doesn't mean we get to talk about it.
Dang. Or at least on
Just
a
saying.
first date. Like a first date is like a job interview where it's like realistically 6 months to a year after that, after the first date, really, none of that's gonna matter. You're probably going to show like all your weird quirks then anyways. But it's the first impression, and nobody wants to hear how you're like still all caught up on your ex of how you freaking like burned her house down or something. Like that's kind of
Yeah,
scary territory to be in and be like, oh, if you happen to ever break up with me, I will kill you.
yeah, I will kill you.
It's like, okay, I'm I'm gonna head out.
But head out. Yeah. Be like, to what house? I already burned it down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you trying to leave?
You know, where you're trying to leave.
Oh my
Ugh.
gosh. And I've never had this happen, but like a lot of the people that I saw on Reddit and whatnot who shared stories, just like guys, or even I guess it was more the guys who were like talking as if they would like be married or like talking about like kids on the first, and I'm like, what? And being like, oh, our kids would be like this, or and I'm like, if we were married, then it's like, whoa, 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 you need to slow down.
Yeah, I didn't like that because when I was on a date with my current girlfriend, I guess it wasn't my date. I had actually just introduced her to my parents. My dog and how it's so annoying
Yeah.
and how it does not like anybody. It likes her. And then my parents, because they still liked her at the time, I don't know if that situation has changed at all. I don't know. I feel like that's a topic for a different time. But she was like really well liked by my dog. And then my parents were like, "Oh, I guess we better get your wedding dress sized up." And then I was like, "I hate you both."
I bet they love themselves afterward.
Yeah, I bet they loved that.
Like, ha ha ha, now he's gonna go kill himself.
Yeah, ha 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 ha.
One of the main things is like who should pay, and I guess it's a whole debate on its own. But an easy little thing that I think everyone could use, whether you're a dude or a chick, it's like, okay, whoever offers to pay first is just let them pay. So if it's the guy offering to pay, or like don't expect the other person to pay, like be prepared to pay yourself. But whomever offers first, do not argue with them. Don't be like, oh no, I'm paying, I'm paying, I'm paying this, I'm paying that, or like towards the end, just be like, hey, want to split? And if they're like, no, I'll pay for it, then be like, okay, cool. And if they're like, yeah, sure, I want to split, then be like, okay, I guess we're splitting. But people like expecting the others to like pay. Like I saw a lot of Reddit stories which were like girls would like purposely order
Mhm.
expensive things and like keep ordering like a whole bunch of stuff, and then the guy would like subtly tell the waiter or waitress to split their bill. So then when the bill
Mhm.
came, they would get super like, what the heck's going on? And they would pay their own bill and like slide out. And I'm like, oh, yep,
Mhm.
that's what you get.
Yeah.
But, what's your opinion on
Like,
that?
I think as a dude, you should probably offer to, but at the same time, I think a woman wasn't raised right if she doesn't at least offer to pay half.
Right.
And then you could make the argument that it's like, oh, we're paying in other ways, you know, quotation marks. But then at the same time, it's like, oh, that's if you the reason you want to do that kind of stuff with that person, because I think we both know what we're talking about, is because they paid for your food. You're not exactly a quality person.
Right.
Like, that's just my opinion. But I think a dude should offer, but I also think a woman was not raised right if she does not at least offer to pay for her half.
Right. Plus, on a side note, is that really worth it? Like a $15 meal for that?
I, mm,
Anyways.
yeah, I've never been on a first date where I have not paid for the actual food, but I have never been on a second date with somebody who didn't offer to pay. Yeah, if that makes sense. If you're not paying bills,
Right.
then okay. But
Got my
at the same
Spotify
time, you
bill.
oh wow. I mean, I guess at the same time, you also have to take into account like the financial situation of the person. Like, I guess if the woman has no bills to pay, then I guess it's fine. Then if she pays, and if you like are just living paycheck to paycheck, and then she orders something expensive, yeah, I guess I would kind of expect her to pay. But at the same time, why are you going on a date if you can't pay for it?
Right. But anyways, these next ones are meant to be more like funny ones, so I guess change your expectation to be that. And we're gonna go through these pretty quickly since so yeah. So the first one is don't ever say I'm glad my fiance is still deployed. There's so
Oh my
many
god.
things wrong with that. My fiance, so you're already like engaged. And they're
And
the
then you're just doing it to somebody who's serving in the armed forces. I'm like,
right.
what is
And it's
like you can't like if you're gonna cheat, don't cheat on somebody who's serving your country. You
right.
terrible human being.
Like that's just
That's just the worst kind of human being.
I'm under the philosophy that if you're gonna date someone who's willing to cheat on somebody else for you, how do you know they're not going to cheat on you with somebody else?
Yeah, like I mean, my Spanish teacher kind of hated men, so I guess she
The
lived under
heck?
the motto of if you once a cheater, always a cheater, especially in men.
Uh,
Yeah, so she so technically if that is true, that means they're always going to cheat on like always be a cheater.
that
So
is
if
true.
they are always a cheater, then what's like the point? What's the point, you
Right,
know?
right. I agree. And so this next one is things you should not say, and that we can go anywhere as long as it's not within 50 feet of a school.
Oh, jeez.
At that point, hippity hoppity, get off the property.
Yeah, at that point, it's just get out, go away.
And this one was pretty great. And I guess the story like took place like 6 years ago from this person, so it's like in hindsight. And this person, I
Hmm.
guess, went out with a girl who called them racist because they didn't like sushi. And
Hmm.
like their comment was, I mean, yeah, I don't like Asian people, but it's not because they're sushi.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, wow. I mean, that's obviously meant to be a joke. I would assume
Well,
so. But
I would hope it would be a joke. If like, I mean, if you're gonna say a joke like that, make sure it's at least on the second date.
right.
Like,
Oh
if
my
you're gonna do that,
gosh.
this is giving them a reason to leave. You
I
know,
mean, yeah, I don't
I mean,
like
of course.
Asian people, and it's not because they're sushi. I love
Yeah.
that. The next one is I'm pregnant, but no worries, the father's locked up.
Oh God.
That's just like a story where it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're pregnant with someone who's in prison and you're looking for someone while That's good. That's not. That's a recipe for disaster. When that guy
That's
gets
a recipe for you to get shot when he gets out.
right, when that person gets out of jail, you about
You're
to get
dead.
shot. But this next one is, and just was I guess something that actually happened between like a couple or whatever, like on their first date, and it was the other person asked to wear matching outfits, and I'm like, what?
Ugh.
Like, who does that?
I don't wear matching outfits with my family. The only time I've ever worn a matching outfit with somebody is I wear a matching pair of pajamas with my sister on
I feel
Christmas.
like that's okay. And that makes more sense. Matching outfits anyway to like relationship is like kind of
Yeah,
weird, but you
I
know,
don't. I've never met. I mean, that's not true. I matched with my girlfriend at school because it was like for a spirit wear day, and I wanted extra credit points in my math class. That's
yeah,
why.
that's fine. On a first date, mind you, like who is I forget which one asked it. I don't know if it was the girl or the guy who asked this, but either way, that's just ugh, weird.
Yeah. Ugh, gross.
But these next two go together, and it's like sort of with the whole like, oh, I'm so glad my husband or my fiance is so deployed, where it's like if forget to take off your wedding ring or your phone background is you and somebody else kissing, it's like what the if you're gonna cheat, like why would you
Oh, dude, that also reminds me. Remember when I was talking about that girl at Kroger? Dude, her profile picture, and I didn't know this until after I had already asked her out, was her and another guy.
is that like her brother?
No, he wasn't exactly the same ethnicity.
Well, what's that supposed to mean? You're racist?
No, I'm just saying they weren't blood related,
Yeah, okay.
and her parents were still together.
Oh my gosh. That's and you didn't notice that?
I didn't know that because she didn't tell me that she had a Facebook. She said that she did not have Facebook.
I guess if you would
Should
have
have told
saw
me.
if you would have seen that, then you would have known that that was a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, apparently she was apparently already with somebody, and I don't know why she said yes to me going out with them.
More the merrier, perhaps? I don't know. This next one is probably the most craziest one. Might be one that I have to cut and post. Guess this post was from like a lady's perspective, where like she like told the story, and it was a dude asked her if she was on her period,
Ugh.
and then this is not where it ends. The dude said that he has a strange talent and can always smell when a girl is on her period.
Hmm.
But wait, there's more. She was actually on her period.
So he wasn't even lying. He told the truth.
Yeah. The comments for the best, where it's like you were either dating a murderer, a shark, or a vampire, or all of the above.
It sounds like
A
it.
vampire, shark, murderer. But I'm like, what? What? First of all, even if you had that talent, why do you exist? But second,
And why are you saying that you have that talent? That is not a talent you want to brag about.
like,
Like you want to know what's a talent? Beating Doom 2016 on nightmare difficulty with a garage band guitar as a controller. I've seen people do that.
or yeah,
I've seen I've seen it. Or it's like doing one of those making a cherry stems into a pretzel knot with your tongue. That's
it's
talent.
like how to beat Skyrim without walking or some weird crime.
Yeah, or if you beat BioShock using only the wrench.
That's talent, but like, oh my, that's just
Like skill, like yeah, that's not a talent that you want to display.
imagine being born like that. Like he has to be half shark at that point.
Or he has to have like one killer senses. Or maybe he was dropped in a vat of maybe acid spilled on his eyes, so now he smells everything better like Daredevil.
What the heck? I guess. Does Daredevil smell that good where he can smell something like that? I guess it's not in the show.
I mean, remember in the second episode where he said he could smell a guy's cologne from 3 stories down or something like that?
Imagine like if he was trying to raise a kid or something and how he would be able to like smell like if they pooped or something in their diaper instantly. I guess
Yeah,
so.
I would hate to be Daredevil just because everybody just is so gross.
Right. And you smell that like tenfold.
Yeah, if you smell that tenfold, or you can hear everybody's annoying phone calls, then oh my god, that'd be terrible.
But essentially yeah, that's it for the jokey ones. Like the paradox of being like, "Oh, just be yourself." It's like, well, I mean, I guess, but in a way, do you want to promote your best self without being fake? Like if you have weird hobbies, potentially the other person could grow to appreciate those. But I mean, if it's really weird or like if you're a creep, I guess most people don't know they're creeps, I guess, until after the fact. So, but I don't know, like if you are a creep or if you have like weird quirks like eating with your mouth or sorry, eat talking with your mouth full, something like that, or
Hmm.
like which is weird hobby or like weird quirks like that, then I mean I guess it's might be a little hard to find someone. What do you think about that? The whole like paradox, like be yourself at the same time. It's like, well, if you're completely yourself, then somebody might not like you.
Yeah, don't. I mean, I would say don't lie, but I would say don't lie and try and be a different human being. But I think you definitely need to tone yourself down a little bit and don't display like the weird things that you do.
All right, plus
Like,
I was gonna say, plus, like, if you're 5'8", round up, you're 6 foot now. It's fine. If you're like, I don't know, like 132, you're 125 now.
round up for height, round down for weight.
Right. All right. Take notes. It'll be on the
Yeah,
quiz.
yeah, we're just helping you guys now. You know, we're your big brothers.
Oh my gosh. But
Yeah, we're your big. Yeah, we're gonna help you guys out. We're gonna be the dads you might have never had.
dang, dude.
Yeah. Hey, my dad didn't teach me how to shave. I'll teach these guys how to shave. It's
Oh,
fine.
yes, that story.
Yeah, I used YouTube tutorials.
You didn't put shaving cream on the first time. But anyway, do you have like anything else that you want to like wrap up with?
No, I don't think so.
All right, so then I guess I have some things to sort of like get off of that, and I guess just sort of a more complicated one, but I feel like most people can just relax because like, what's the worst that could happen? Granted, if you're going out with somebody who's like from work or from school, I guess a little bit there's stakes to it because you'll know them afterward. But I mean, in my experience, if you're in school, granted, it doesn't feel like school's going to end, but school's going to end, and if it's at work
Yeah.
it's like, is that really going to matter 5+ years from now if it doesn't work out or if something weird happens? And especially if you're on a date with someone random from like an app or something and it doesn't work out, like what's the worst that's going to happen? Okay, you might occasionally feel weird in the shower occasionally, but realistically, realistically, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really date women that I went to the same school with when we were in school because well, I'm in school now, but I don't really date women from my college because like I don't really like the idea of bumping into them and maybe them being happier with somebody else if it ends wrong.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, like I don't know, that idea just, I don't doesn't sit well with me.
What's the philosophy behind that, by the way? Like, anyway, like the whole idea of even if you wouldn't want to be with somebody, even if you do not like that person anymore, just seeing them with somebody else and being happy, like, why does that even hurt?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
So weird.
But it's like, I don't know, I guess you kind of had that you began to like emotionally attach yourself to that person and then when it didn't work out, then it's just kind of like ugh. Like I guess I went on one date with somebody from my college and now they're in the Navy, which I guess is cool,
Did
but I don't know, they weren't exactly at the top of it just didn't work out.
you say
But
that
meh.
like too short or something?
No, it wasn't that they were too short. I mean, yeah, they were 5'1", but at the same time, I just didn't feel like that spark. Like you can kind of
Yeah,
feel that, like there's just no electricity.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess with some closing statements, similar to a job interview, if you have a felony on your record, probably just gonna have to don't try and hide it because Baskin Robbins always finds out.
Yeah, yeah. I hate when people I also think it should be like with maybe like if you're like transgender or something. Yeah, you should probably say that.
Mm.
Just probably like, and you can be like, oh, that isn't your business. That isn't your business. Yeah, it kind of is if you're gonna share your life with somebody.
You're right, and I don't know if that stuff actually happens though. Like if it's like the first time, like in the bedroom, it's like, whoa, what's that? I don't know if that actually
Yeah,
happens or not.
I watched a video about a guy who was HIV positive who says he doesn't tell his people who he goes on a date with because he says he doesn't feel like it's their business.
What? It's
I'm like, yeah, it really is their business.
right. You're gonna make it their business.
Yeah, they're gonna make it. You're gonna make it their business when they test positive for it too,
Oh
my guy.
gosh, sharing is caring. So.
Not sharing deadly diseases.
Oh boy.
I would say that's a sign you don't care, and I would say that you have to be pretty angry at the world
Right.
in order to say like, oh, I'm just going to give everyone that I possibly can this, and if because I have it, that means everybody else has to have it too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But I think we've been talking for long enough. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Geeks Strike Back. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a rating and subscribe so you are notified anytime a new episode is released. This show is a weekly podcast coming out every Friday. And if you're interested on what we'll be talking about next week, follow us at TGSB Podcast on Twitter. This has been the Geek Strike Back, and we will see you all next week.
Do I wish that this was all over? Yes, but at the same time, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble forming words.
Oh my gosh.
What were we talking about?
The lockdown.
Oh.